Warm greetings from AJK College of Arts and Science. Indeed, it gives great honor and pleasure to welcome two eminent personalities who will be sharing their thoughts in today's webinar. One, Dr. Gajavelli V S, Professor and Chairperson, Center for Sustainability Growth and Development, Institute of Management and Technology, Nagpur, who will be sharing his views with our beloved students on the technological aspect of the Rural Entrepreneurship Development Cell. He is a person who's got wide knowledge, which we'll be listening while my colleague reads out his profile. And later we'll be having Dr. Juhi M Garg, who is the Deputy Director, Project Shakti at University of Petroleum and Energy Studies, Dehradun, University of Petroleum and Energy Studies, Uttarakhand Technical University. She will be sharing her views after Dr. Gajavelli. This is a 2 days national level seminar conducted by the REDC cell. Mr. Naveen Kumar, Mr. Manigandan, and Dr. Lakshmi Iyer, who shed the lights on their aspects of the HR personality in the rural community. How can a student bring out his hidden entrepreneurship skills who is in the rural sector? On behalf of AJK College Management, the Secretary, Principal, faculty members, and our beloved students, I once again welcome Dr. Gajavelli V S and Dr. Juhi M Garg, who have gratefully accepted our invitation, and we all know they are all very busy personalities, and being a part of this 2 days national level webinar, it is really an honor to have both of you, sir and madam. We welcome you once again. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now I would request Mrs. Sujita Amalin Nancy, Student Development Officer, to introduce our chief guest and resource person, Dr. Gajavelli V S.
Okay, a very good morning to one and all present here. It's my pleasure to introduce our chief guest, Dr. Gajavelli V S. He's a professor and chairperson, Center for Excellence for Sustainability, Growth and Development at the Institute of Management Technology, Nagpur. He has more than 23 years of experience in management, education, research, executive education, in-company programs, faculty development, and consulting. He holds a PhD from Hyderabad Central University and trained in the Participant-Centered Learning and Case Method Craft (PCL) at Harvard Business School and on teaching methodologies and case writing by Richard Ivey and Stockholm School respectively. He has been hosted by Burgundy School of Business, Diogenes Paris, France, and Faculty of Business and Economics at University Diponegoro, Semarang, Indonesia as a visiting scholar. Dr. Gajavelli has presented and published several research papers in various national and international professional forums such as UNEP, Nairobi, Kenya, and ISW, Halifax, Canada, and authored 2 textbooks in the area of economic environment and decision making. Our guest has been honored SVR Komaraj Gold Medal from Her Excellency Srimati Kumit Joshi, the then Governor of Andhra Pradesh, for securing maximum marks in MA Economics and standing first in the university. Merit Fellowship by the Hyderabad Central University, Hyderabad. Certificate of Excellence from His Excellency Dr. Bhishma Narayan Singh, formerly Governor of Assam, Tamil Nadu and Northeastern States, for meritorious service and outstanding performance at a seminar on India's economic development on 10th May 2011. Thank you, everyone.
And first of all, I congratulate the management of the institution, your esteemed institution, for having this kind of a vision and calling for a two-day deliberation on rural entrepreneurship development. And that essentially shows how relevant is this topic. And I must thank your management for taking the kind of initiative and engaging youngsters and people with the kind of expertise who can actually guide youngsters. And obviously, we all expect some good impact of this kind of exercise. While thanking management, I also thank Professor Jonathan and his colleagues to constantly, follow and finally inviting me for this talk. And I take it as a honor because these are the forums wherein we actually air our ideas, our views that we fine-tune over a period of 3 decades. We have seen India from that of economy which was just developing and emerging, and the government has opened up the economy by facilitating so many opportunities for almost all segments of the society, whether you talk about businesses, the government institutions, communities, societies at large. So we have been trying our best to usher in a much more liberal environment. So I'm here to share maybe next 40-45 minutes what I think is the need of the hour for these rural communities and what is that they are empowered with, and what kind of help, support that they require, and in what way the institutions, in what way today's youngsters, young minds, innovative, creative thoughts that they have, how they can go about those ideas and make them relevant to rural communities, because India lives in villages. Even today, 65-70% of India's workforce population lives in the countryside. That only implies how important are our rural communities, our rural India, rural societies, and the population, and the kind of a potential that the rural India has in terms of reviving this economy. If you look at the kind of a pandemic triggered recession, the first quarter of 2021, studies have shown initially that there is a drop of 23.9% in GDP for the first quarter closing June. And the revised figures have shown that after including the informal economy, informal sectors that essentially flourish in the countryside, and those household, micro, small, medium enterprises, most of them essentially operate in the rural and suburban areas. Once they are being included into the estimates to what extent our economy has fell, that came to 32%, more than 1/3 of economy has declined. But the recent studies come out with a blessing that the demand is actually getting revived in Bharat, not in India. Bharat essentially covered the rural India, the rural countryside, the rural parts of this great nation. And India represent the metros, urban localities. So I think now we can really appreciate how important is this topic, rural entrepreneurship. What kind of a creativity and innovation, and how these ideas can actually make these innovation and development more sustainable, because finally the major chunk of India lives in villages. So how best we support them? How best we empower them? And in the process, we also grow. So what is the role of entrepreneurship? Where exactly we stand today? So as I move forward, I talk about basically what kind of because we can't think of India alone. We are in a global village. There is a global society, global community. We are very much intertwined, very well connected with the global market, global economy, global community. So what is the policy plank? What is the kind of a consensus that is being emerging? Part of which, obviously, India very much is there, isn't it? And then, what is this entrepreneurship? What is this rural technology? Isn't it? How this entrepreneurship actually can come out with very innovative, creative ideas that suit our rural communities and their potential and allow them to realize their dreams. Allow them to realize their dreams. And in the process, I also try my best to give some basic concepts to youngsters, because I'm sure this is meant for youngsters. And I give you some case studies that are being drawn from our own localities, our own communities, and that have come to the notice of some of the global think tanks, such as, say, researchers at Harvard Business School. Why that they came all the way to India to study how these creative ideas, these innovative ideas are actually unleashing an era of entrepreneurship in this country. So, Jonathan told me to talk about entrepreneurship and technology. Obviously, at the heart of entrepreneurship and technology, the issue is sustainability. Whatever we do, whether those efforts can actually give us some kind of a long-term returns, whether they can take the interest, the concerns of the present generation and also the future generation. So this is going to my focus the next 30-35 minutes. So I just would like to expand the slide now. So sustainable development, technological innovation, institutions, isn't it? What kind of an institution that we have? Recent pandemic has proved that we very much lack the basic health infrastructure in our rural India, rural Bharat. That is where our maximum chunk of brothers and sisters live. Right. So let us just look at where exactly we can actually, identify and fix this problem. What is the context? This is something very important because we can't afford to think in silo. We can't afford to think in isolation. For instance, what World Commission on Development and Environment in their our common future, because it is not just rural lives. Rural lives are very much tied up with the global climatic disaster that is happening. If the temperatures go up, what is that we have been seeing? At a given moment of time, some parts of the world, you see, the storms and all that. The other parts of the world, you see the temperatures going way above the historically recorded limits. Right? So when the temperatures go haywire, and how this is going to affect the the rural lives, because the rural lives essentially depend on the farm sector, and the farm sector has no reliable irrigation facilities. They essentially depend on rain gods. So this time the rain gods have blessed as well, and the rural India actually come to the rescue of the entire country. That is what the current study says. So how the larger problems way beyond the scope, the control of our rural brothers and sisters and the rural communities, going to hamper, affect, influence their current and future performance prospects. This is something very important here. What it says, and in the end, sustainable development is not a fixed state of harmony, but rather a process of change in which exploitation of the resources, the direction of the investment, the orientation of technological development and institutional change are made very much consistent with the future as well as the present needs of the communities. We don't pretend that the process is so easy, the way we read in the books, the way we deliver lectures, the way we have online conferences, isn't it? Definitely, it is not an easy process. It is not straightforward. It is complex because it is at the heart of communities. It's the heart of technology, the heart of government intervention in the rural localities, the public sector, the communities, NGOs, the business sector. So what kind of a coordination that they are going to have? What kind of a consensus that they are able to arrive at? And at the globally, what kind of a consensus being emerged, isn't it? On climate change, for instance, climate change can play havoc with the lives of the rural communities. If India's 65–70% of the population lives in the countryside that depend on the rain gods, if the climate, if the weather conditions, ecology go for a toss, so what is going to happen? So we can't afford to ignore these larger concerns that go way beyond our academic deliberations and the policy making that happen, at the village level, mandal level, district level, and even at the state government and the union government levels. So there has to be a brotherhood of this humanity cutting across communities, gender, and regions, and trying to find a solution that is so specific to the problems that are very, very specific to the local communities and villages. So this is my take, my dear friends, as I move forward. The background, I think the World Bank, we all of us agree, it is a major think tank, that essentially try to moderate the ideas coming from its member countries and trying to help development project, technology, developing societies, including India, China, or any other communities globally. And they essentially evolve and they essentially reflect as to what we should be doing, but what is it we are doing, isn't it? So let us just look at how the policy as such is being evolved so that we can gradually come to our own localities and appreciate. So it is coming from the policy, the way that is being, understood, and the consensus emerged and getting reflected in, the global agencies that are into basically the development of communities. And they essentially invest in human capital, physical capital, infrastructure, to rebuild nations, to rebuild communities, not only in terms of economic parameters, but also in terms of social, technological parameters such as health, education, the rural infrastructure, the quality and the standard of living that countryside. So it has been long been that a majority of the world poor live in rural areas. Okay, this is an accepted reality even today. So the World Bank, along with others, has persistently over a period pursued development to address unacceptable reality of such levels of poverty. Poverty exists not only in this country, the entire sub-Saharan, Asian, all these regions. So I think we all of us aware, way back in 1974, in his Nairobi speech, Robert S. McNamara sealed the World Bank's commitment in this regard. And even the successive World Bank presidents have strongly reaffirmed that commitment to how best to help rural communities. So, but in spite of those sustained efforts over a period, I'm talking about year 2020, I'm talking about early 70s. So even after 5 decades, what is the status? Where are we moving forward? How urgent are our efforts and actions and the results? The rural poverty situation has changed only a little in most of the developing societies. Moreover, given the prevalent deprivation in rural health, education, social services, isn't it, that include health, isn't it? We have been seeing the way the virus is able to spread into the rural areas. The other day I was reading almost 60 to 70% of the rural communities, rural population is infected with COVID-19. So whether our institutions are able to stop this kind of a spread, vis-a-vis those communities, those nations who have already started putting up with a positive growth, whereas India has put up with a negative growth of initially 23.9 and later on, after including the rural economy, informal sector, micro, small and medium enterprises, what happened? Our decline is in the negative zone to the extent of 32%. And so how those societies, those communities, those nations were able to arrest and kept the spread of the virus to zero, they were able to recover well. So the question is, how those communities were able to spread the virus COVID-19 to zero? That is a big question mark. So what kind of infrastructure, what kind of action, what are the institutional support that they have in place so that they ensure the zero spread of the virus, and hence they are able to revive their economies. So, I mean, your growth, your future, your communities, they are very well connected. Right. So, further, the given prevalent deprivation in rural health, education, social services, approaching a broader Millennium Development Goals will not be possible without significant increase in rural incomes and opportunities. So this is where, again, the role of entrepreneurship and the relevant technologies that youngsters need to think. You're not going to do any philanthropy here. You're going to prosper because these are the areas where there is a huge demand for such technologies, for such entrepreneurial interventions. It is not in urban metros, city centers, and towns. Please imagine, please think, this is where the maximum chunk of India's population live. And the major chunk of such population, the youngsters, the population dividend, they have the potential to earn, provided they get a suitable job, provided you put the basic factors of production, land, labor, capital, you use your entrepreneurial, creative thinking. So organize production, services, engage people, provide livelihood, raise incomes. Right. So find gaps. See, we all of us, many a time, are driven by, a lot of media reporting. Yeah, yes. we are going to make Indian economy from that of 2.5 trillion to that of 5 trillion, double in about a matter of 2 to 3 years. But in the meantime, we are stuck with the virus and we're not able to control it. But I want to share one startling revelation by no other than the global think tank World Bank has very clearly stated, hey Indians, you don't need to spend even a single pie more. Just whatever the resources that you have, your land, your man, your woman, their abilities, their inclination, their aspirations, your factories, your agriculture, your services, your manufacturing facilities, you just use them efficiently. You just be smart. You are going to become 10 trillion economy even without spending a single rupee, a single dollar more. So entrepreneurs, youngsters, please find ways to how best you are going to enhance the efficiency, productivity of this nation. If the major chunk of the population is starving, languishing, isn't it? They have the aspirations, they have the potential. So how is that we are going to use them, isn't it? So you are going to find a way for World Bank observation. No, we are not going to grow at just $250 trillion GDP growth rate, but we are going to make it $10 trillion. So the opportunity very clearly identified by no other than the World Bank. Please put your minds there. And you're going to grow fourfold. If 200 trillion economy can become 10 trillion, we are just close to our neighbor brother China. Yeah. Right. So what are these Millennial Developmental Goals? How they are going to be an essential focus in our developmental pursuits. How is that you are going to address these issues of equity, gender, the health emergency recently we are stuck with? Yeah. So we can't afford to do anything to our nation, this great nation, and our brothers and sisters in this great countries, rural areas, rural communities. The first thing is eradicate extreme poverty and hunger. Yes, achieve universal primary education. This is going to provide a solution for every possible problem. Literacy is a panacea for all diseases. Promote gender equality and empower women. A great danger that no one is talking about India faces as on today. 50% of your workforce women, especially at the higher end, highly educated, even high-tech jobs, they are withdrawing. The female workforce participation has been dwindling in this country. So how is that we are going to realize our dreams? If 50% of the workforce is gradually, withdrawing from workforce participation, they are no more part of economic activity, contribution to GDP, income, spending potential. So how is that we are going to reverse this trend? Not just growing unemployment, but within that, the female workforce participation has been dwindling consistently. So reduce child mortality, especially the female mortality, which is much more in this country. And I'm sure it is a shame for every Indian, because they are all our mothers, sisters, isn't it, our daughters. Improve maternal health, combat disease, ensure environmental sustainability. There are no solutions, no sustainable incomes if you are ignoring rural forests, rural tanks, rural irrigation facilities, a reliable rain that come as predicted by our meteorological department. There is no life ahead. Global partnership for development. We need to work with World Bank. We need to work with NGOs. We need to work with global consultants. That is how we are going to create a very healthy, vibrant global community that assure in equality, the gender fraternity, literacy, health, and so on and so forth. I think I have to move further. Okay, I'll just move ahead because this kind of backdrop is very much essential to bring a very strong focus to entrepreneurship, to technology. Because without identifying the opportunity and without clearly identifying it, so there is no inclination, there is no motivation for us to think about these ideas very seriously and have the motivation to put those ideas into action. Yes, right? So the World Bank strategy, which we have to obviously take it very seriously, even at the national level, state level, even the rural level, because the best tested ideas, they keep molding, those policies and trying to suggest to the member countries, because they are one of the changes of the rural development in this global community. So for rural development calls for raising the profile of the rural development efforts. So how is that we are going to raise the efforts of the rural development efforts? And so what are these? Focusing on the poor, a holistic pro-poor rural development. So how is that we are going to target those poor only? And reaffirming, fostering a broad-based growth, agriculture as the main engine of rural economic growth. We have already pointed out this very clearly. Agriculture, though it accounts for 19 to 20% of the GDP, but imagine 70% of population lives depend on the 20% of GDP, because that is where they get their livelihood, incomes, the spending capacity. Now the entire corporate India is focusing on the rural India, because they realize this is the bottom of the pyramid, that is where the wealth lies. As C.K. Prahalad rightly stated, part of the pyramid, isn't it? We are not here to exploit them. We are here to empower them first. Right? We have to change our mindset. I'm sure some corporates have become socially more responsible, accountable, and they are doing their job. And this is also happening in countries like Korea and other countries, South Korea and other countries, addressing the entire rural space. Yeah. And what are the shortcomings of the earlier top-down, non-inclusive approaches? What are the learnings? Are we trying to attend to them? To what extent? How quickly we can act? Forging alliances for all stakeholders. You can't afford to ignore any. When you are taking a policy and trying to implement it, you need cooperation support from every participant in the rural community. You talk about local population, you talk about village panchayat, you talk about government servants, government agencies, NGOs, banking sector, isn't it? Because they have to fund your ideas. Yeah, so this is something very important. Okay, let us move forward. Now, the World Bank also think about, so when you are trying to revive the rural India, that is a major chunk of India, where the larger chunk of the population lives, eke out a living, earn incomes, spend money, and their incomes and money going to have a decisive bearing. For instance, how come the rural economy revival, because of the rain gods, now helping even the big businesses that are there in the urban areas and the services, isn't it? So we have to have a give and take approach, and we have to realize the importance of this. So when you are talking in terms of the development, so the World Bank also trying to work with other important agencies, that is World Trade Organization, and they're ensuring ready access to new and appropriate technologies, especially that suit the poor farmers, small rural businesses in those localities. So the basic policy plan, so what are the relevant technologies, suitable technologies that we need to take to the rural areas when we are trying to revive those communities, revive those rural economies? Now, I think the next 10-15 minutes, I'm going to talk on entrepreneurship and rural technology. Yes, so that's been the development approach, issues, and how is that, we are able to approach those issues, right? Now, I want to give some basic funda concepts, and I'm giving you some, statistics here. So rural technology, innovation and development. Why rural technology and entrepreneurship? See, entrepreneurship is essentially profit driven, right? But when it comes to reviving rural communities, rural economy, and trying to make technologies relevant to rural requirements and make them relevant, you need to have altogether a different concept, different approach here. That is social entrepreneurship. You're going to essentially be an entrepreneur, trying to find the gaps and trying to know what are the drawbacks, handicaps of local people, because they are not that literate the way you are educated. They are not that literate the way you have become an engineer, or you have become a graduate in a particular domain, right? So you identify the prospective solutions and you focus where exactly is the scope for kind of idea generation, trying to help them and bringing that business orientation to the whole activity. So you earn a profit. You earn a profit here also, but it is essentially to empower the local communities. And whatever is the profit that you earn, you inject that into back to those units that are trying to help empower them. So we talk about these things as we move forward. So why it is so vital for India? For instance, simple statistics. India has the second largest pool of the workforce in the world, and alarmingly, its labor force participation rate steadily declining. That means there is a growing unemployment in this country. They are equipped, they have the potential, they want to work, they are educated, but they are not finding avenues to deploy their dreams, their expertise, their education. So now you know. You come out with a brilliant idea, you show them, yes, this is the work, this is the idea, you work, you earn a living, you get your salary, isn't it? You produce goods and services. I have been actively working last couple of years in our own social entrepreneurship project that is being highlighted as one of the important initiatives taken by the business schools in South Asian region by WACSP. Right. So I've been actively there, working there. So we visited villages. There are, farm products, several products, including dairy. And every day, so many liters of milk and even the curd, dahi, it gets spoiled because they don't have access to the market. It is a simple solution that an educated youngster like you provide. You procure them, so you charge a little more and sell that in the urban areas. And there are youngsters, graduates, they are very good at handicrafts. Yeah, you have to just connect them with a seller, for instance, Amazon, Flipkart, and they are making handicrafts far more better than what you see on Amazon India, Amazon US, Flipkart. So by doing this much per unit, you charge a little. So this is how you are bringing the right partners together. They are somewhere in two different localities, total disconnect. So you are finding proper connect. Yes. So this is how things can move forward. Further, the decline in the female workforce participation has been drastic, and it is a major policy concern. So this is again, you want to reverse this, again, social entrepreneurship, because again, as I told, the major chunk of our sisters essentially live in the rural areas. When we say that 70% of India's population living in, so that means 50% of that comes to close to 35% of the rural population of India. So this is the scenario. Yeah, and such issues of social entrepreneurial actions go a long way in creating the much needed social value, and certainly capable of liberating more than 1 billion Indians. We are talking about more than 1 billion Indians. They are not able to find jobs. That is a big opportunity for you. I've just clearly mentioned. Yeah. So that way, the entrepreneurship become the most effective alternative to the inadequate government reach or the greedy businesses to tackle the social issues involving people, resources, and the grossly inadequate technological and institutional support to the rural communities. So undoubtedly, entrepreneurship here with innovative approaches to relevant technologies and solutions bound to enhance the social value of your efforts for several social groups, communities, and societies. And we need a solution that is so specific to the localities, because the problems are so specific. We visited close to 200 villages. In every village, there is a different problem. You can't making a policy somewhere in the capital, political capital of the country, or a financial capital of the country, and trying to implement in a specific locality. That is not going to work. The feedback has to come from the bottom. That is to be taken up to the right spirit. Policy to be evolved. Funding has to be done. Technological support has to be provided. And a will on the part of the implementing agencies has to be ensured. So this is how we are essentially trying to. So I think I have 10 minutes. Social entrepreneurs. What is social entrepreneurs, my dear young friends? I'm going to interact with you during the question answers, followed by my talk for about 10 minutes or so. Who are these social entrepreneurs? Entrepreneurs, we have Tatas, Birlas. Even the Tatas have social orientation for their businesses. isn't it? Even Wipros, Ajim Premji, spend a lot. They have their trust, and they essentially do social entrepreneurship work. For instance, recently IKEA entered this country. IKEA spent millions of euros on projects essentially involving social entrepreneurship, isn't it? So they are going to engage agencies that are into social entrepreneurship. They are going to engage NGOs. They are going to social entrepreneurship. They are going to fund even government initiatives, with this kind of social entrepreneurship orientation, right? So who are these cool minds and very, very humane hearts and highly creative, highly energetic? Who are these people? These are essentially agents of change, but with the entrepreneurial approach. Typically, a social entrepreneurship is the one who pursues novel applications and establishes an enterprise with the aim of solving a social problem or to bring societal change. And such entities are usually small-scale ventures. Enterprises, they are managed by owner-managers. And who are they? Housewives. Who are they? Farmers. Who are they? School dropouts. Who are they? Young minds coming from IITs. So I mentioned young minds, bright minds coming from IITs. Recently, I had an interaction with an IIT graduate. They are into social entrepreneurship. So a school dropout, a villager from Gujarat, a villager from a living community from Andhra, and a graduate from such a top-notch institution of the country, premier institution, they're all having the same ideas. So you don't need a platform here. There is no such level playing field for these kind of ideas. You don't need to be a, Einstein here. I think it is a wonderful area. A sense of fulfillment. When Ajim Premji Wipro or when IKEA or when Tata's finally, though they are highly profit motive enterprises, finally they are spending billions of dollars here in this area. So you start with this. Even the government climate is much more conducive for these ideas. Current government approach has been very, very encouraging in this country. And these individuals are willing to take on the risk and efforts to create positive changes in socio-economic, cultural, environmental arenas of these communities. So the magnitude of such innovative efforts coupled with the conscious use of ethical practices. So these are very, very important concepts. Impact investing. Yes. A company spending money and you are spending money in rural venture, I think they have totally two different results. And corporate social responsibility. Conscious consumerism. So I have money. It doesn't mean that I go on spending. Isn't it? I can't afford to have a cell phone that costs me a few crores of rupees. That is not a socially responsible spending. You're not actually valuing your own labor and that money. There is a better way of spending that money. Yeah? So these are the initiatives that assure an impressive social value return from these ventures and ensure the success of the initiatives of social entrepreneurship. Besides, such social initiatives highly depend on inventive abilities, locally relevant technologies, talent, and the potential present in you youngsters. Yes. Now, I think I don't know how much time I have. Can I take 10 minutes more? Yeah, excuse me. Can
Yes,
I
sir.
take
Yes,
10
sir.
minutes more, madam?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I think, see how relevant. Starting from Stanford and looking at the management guru, Peter F. Drucker, and the great human who actually talked about innovation, technology, entrepreneurship for the first time, that was Joseph Schumpeter. What they say? Entrepreneurial innovation. So please reverse this negative growth with your ideas. You'll be the happiest person on this planet. Social entrepreneurship as reformers, revolutionaries, but with an immaculate social mission. Yeah. So there are a hell lot of social issues in the villages that we visited last 2 years. Amazing, bright minds. They are helpless. They have the skills, abilities. They don't know how to connect with the urban markets, urban buyers. So just connect them with the right platforms. You also grow. You source those products. You encourage them. You fund. Yeah, there are bankers. There are investors who can pump money. Recently, Ratan Tata has invested in a venture involving sale of basic medicines at affordable prices run by a teenager. Imagine. Emeritus Chairman Tata Group is convinced about this kind of entrepreneurial ability. So, you have the idea, there are people like Ratan Tata, Ajim Premji, Bill Gates, who can fund your idea. And you become a millionaire, but with a sense of satisfaction. Yes. So, you are the one who seeks social change, respond proactively, replies to it. Isn't it? There is nobody in this society, in this country, who can reply to such problems. Not the government, not the NGOs, not the private, profit-driven corporate sector. It is you. You are the king. You are the king maker. You become king and you make village lives, villagers kings. Exploit it as an opportunity and therefore enrich the performance capabilities of communities, sisters and brothers, households, artisanal communities, cost-based communities in our rural areas. Stanford is supposed to be one of the best institutions, and what they say, social entrepreneurship combines the passion of social mission with an image of business-like discipline. Yeah, financial discipline is at the heart of making any venture financially feasible, prosperous, and finally a successful venture. Innovation and determination commonly associated with, for instance, the high-tech pioneers of Silicon Valley. So how Silicon Valley is globally known. So you have to have this kind of a discipline, innovation, technological bent of mind. So Silicon Valley is famous for, what kind of a technology. So think of a technology that becomes famous in our rural communities, in our rural livelihoods. They remember you forever. The time is certainly right for entrepreneurial approaches to societal problems. So this is an opportunity. You can't, we can't, or governments can't afford to miss this opportunity. So I just quickly take 5 minutes and see the case studies. Most Indian innovators, both large and small, are now single-mindedly targeting the rural market, which accounts for 70% of the Indian population. For example, the Rural Technology and Business Incubator at IIT Chennai is the best example. So, the Rural Technology and Business Incubator at IIT Chennai, the mission is to design, pilot, incubate business ventures with a specifically rural focus. So, You please just Google what are the rural problems, who are all the rural entrepreneurs. So you get some ideas, hundreds of ideas rather. One startup that got hatched by RTBI is Desi Crew, Rural Business Process Outsourcing Company, which sets up IT-enabled services centers in rural areas to employ and train rural people to meet the back office demands of regional clients. Imagine, see, now you are using these smart, educated minds with no work, outsourcing the kind of IT-enabled services to the clients in urban areas, maybe to the clients in US. See, to the global community. Technology is able to bring all of us together, enabling us to connect. So the concept, competency, and connections are very important, as rightly stated by one of the Harvard Business Review, issue. Right. Okay. What are the other? For instance, very interesting. Many grassroots India innovators are farmers and villagers. I think I have already mentioned that there is no level playing field. Whether you are a IIT Kharagpur guy or IIT Chennai guy or a rural farmer or a school dropout or you're a weaver, I think they're all having more or less the same ideas. So these ideas are generally innate to human. You have to just make them happen. So to address their basic needs for food, shelter, sanitation, health. So these are the areas where there is a huge demand supply potential, demand supply gap. So for instance, Mansukh Prajapati, a potter, a clay baker from the state of Gujarat, has devised Mitti Cool, an ingenious refrigerator made entirely from terracotta clay that keeps water cool and fruits, vegetables, and milk fresh for days, and it doesn't use a single watt of electricity. So you are not only coming out with that kind of innovative product, and you're also have a tap on the environmental pollution caused by fossil fuels, coal generated electricity consumption, because it doesn't use any electricity, any energy, right? So next, Mansukh isn't an exception. Second, the Honeybee Network, which is part of the National Innovation Foundation, which supports grassroots innovation in India, has compiled about a database of 10,000 such inventions pioneered by rural entrepreneurs like Mansukh, and there are so many others. Yeah, look at this. Hailing from a family of 4 farmers from Gujarat, Mansukh Bhai Jagani is a popular rural entrepreneur, a school dropout. He ended up developing a motorcycle-based tractor for India's poor farmers that are both cost-effective as well as fuel-efficient, isn't it? He also developed an attachment for a motorbike to customize it, a multi-purpose toolbar called Bullet Santi, which can carry out various farming activities like furrow opening, sowing, interculturing, and spraying operations. This innovation, which led to increase in productivity, turned out to be a blessing for hundreds of farmers in India. And Bullet Santi now has won a patent not only in India but also in US. Maybe I have a couple of more. Second, look at this. This is the 4th one we are looking at. Madan Lal Kumawat, born in a family of carpenters, and his childhood was spent in languishing poverty. Due to financial issues, he had to quit school. Soon, his health started to deteriorate, as most of his work involved lifting heavy weights and being exposed to wood dust, because that is the family he is born. He then decided to do something of his own and ended up developing a fuel-efficient multi-crop thresher. Farmers benefited massively from the multi-grain friendly thresher that yielded cleaner grains and considerably eliminated the cost of cleaning. Presently, the threshers built by Madan Lal are available in different sizes and models. Look at this. Right. So how and what kind of a path that we have? We looked at the concept, we looked at the idea that is being generated, nurtured over a period, and where we stand, the demand supply gaps, what are the interventions that are happening, cutting across boundaries, doesn't require any kind of education, but even IIT minds, even some companies, even ITC, Tata, and Wipro, and even Microsoft, Bill Gates, Foundation, they're all actively, but that is not much sufficient. The idea has to come, at the bottom of the pyramid. Somebody has to take time, go there, and find problems. By sitting in a room and trying to Google, we will not be able to find solutions. Yeah, I mean, that is my experience when we visited villages, close to 200 last couple of years as part of our social entrepreneurship venture. So now, for more than 50 years, companies have been told to put shareholders first. Now, why? We are essentially now trying to rationalize. But now what is happening? Now, even the largest investors are challenging that idea. Recently, you must have seen, I think Amazon's own employees went against the Amazon's policies with respect to, environmental pollution emissions and its awareness, consciousness about the climatic change, because Amazon uses an enormous amount of logistics and carbon footprints are so high, isn't it? So your own stakeholders are going against such larger issues. So the companies are also trying to change their mindset and trying to focus on the larger concerns, right? So enterprises only with profit motive as a goal are unlikely to succeed in emerging societies and in future to endure their markets in the remaining part of the 21st century, unless they give a serious attention to putting the purpose. Purpose here is the societal concerns. So, if the major multinational enterprises, corporates have to change their thinking, so why is that we take the lead, isn't it? Why is that we don't exploit this emerging opportunity with so much potential, with so much social cause in it? The government of India are going to give you a Nobel Prize. Yeah. So that way, India has amongst the most vibrant social entrepreneurial systems globally, with an estimated 2 million enterprises, a dynamic startup ecosystem, and also sustained interest from ESG or impact investors within the country and globally, have resulted in hundreds of social entrepreneurship projects with relevant technologies, providing access to basic resources and bringing significant changes in the lives of millions of Indians. So already the tempo is in motion. So how best you enhance the pace? How best you expand the scope? How depth you want to go? So it is your imagination. So even the policy environment is also so congenial. But there are challenges. The only way India can sustain its long-term economic growth is by unleashing and harnessing the creativity of its grassroots entrepreneurs. So the government has to further take this plan forward to usher in a higher growth, isn't it? And what are the challenges? These grassroots invention that we have seen and several others that I mentioned don't scale up. Why? Because most rural innovation initiatives such as Desi Crew or grassroots inventions like Mitti Cool, however impressive they may be, are sadly limited in their own impact to a local or regional market of a few hundred customers and end up employing no more than a dozen workers. So why is that you go there as a social entrepreneur and support them and ensure, constant funding and scale up and create a market, connect them to the urban markets? make government agencies realize the potential. So what is missing is a mechanism, that is what? To cross-pollinate and scale up these bright ideas among India's 250 million strong agricultural community, which lives scattered across more than 6 lakh villages. Right. So how can India unleash a rising innovation? What are those technologies that are relevant for these lives and that ensure lifting all rural lives? We have to think seriously. We have to make agencies to think. We have to make government agencies at various levels to think about and to make their efforts much more vibrant, much more focused. But as I have come to a stop, now I have to close. Every good interaction, I think I'm able to really share what is there in my heart, not that is something there in my slides. I want to hear from you now. What do you think? The future of this great nation is on your shoulders. So what do you think as youngsters? With so much potential ahead of you. So how is that you're going to grab this opportunity and you prosper and you ensure others are also prospering? I think the best satisfaction for any human in this life. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, I think my presentation has come to an end. Anyone who want to reach me, you can contact me here. I'm just, you can reach me here. Yeah, and contact number 992-333-0057 with any question answers, please.
This is one Soumya from the participant. Okay, she wants to know what is the first process of patenting.
See, patenting, basically you have to approach the right agencies. Yeah, and first of all, you have to see, I mean, whether it has that kind of a potential.
Yeah, Dr. Gajavelli, thank you for your inspirational speech and sensational speech, sir. And it was very thought-provoking for our students. And you have really thrown light on the rural skills on the technical side. And definitely our students who have listened to your speech should certainly take it forward in their future. And thank you, sir, for sharing your details. We could see it in the screen. And students, please note down the email address and the mobile number of Dr. Gajavelli.
Yeah, they're most welcome, sir. They're most welcome to write to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, dear students, if you have any clarification, please, I have his number, and also you can note it down, which is presented in the screen now. Any doubts regarding how to go forward? What are the procedures which has to be taken to start up a new entrepreneurship? Sir, Dr. Gajavelli will be more than happy to assist you. And thank you, sir, thank you for joining your speech today.
You're most welcome, sir, and thanks for the opportunity. And I wish all the best for your students and others who are present here. And thanks for the management of your institution for giving me this opportunity. And let us keep this, connect, take it to the future and make it more meaningful. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I would like to call Mr. resource person for today's webinar.
Hello, ma'am. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. It was wonderful. I've been, listening to your talk, and it was very enlightening, and it was really informative. Thank you so much for that. It was really informative, and I'm sure that the students must have received a lot of great information, and they will implement it in the times to come. And,
yeah, as a teacher, madam, that is what we are here to inspire them.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yes.
And I really thank the AJK College of Arts and Sciences Management, Professor Nancy, Professor Prakash, for giving me this opportunity to come and speak to the students. Before I actually share whatever little I know with my little experience, I would like to know that these students have the background of management, or what kind of background they have. Can somebody tell me?
Actually, ma'am, there are our college has arts and science, so we have management students also is participating in this program, who have know about this, and we have biotech students also there, so computer science, biotech, costume design and fashion designing. So yeah, it's okay, they will understand, ma'am.
I'm sure they will. All these students are they're very smart, smarter than us. They're millennials, and they have great experience of life. I mean, we are now kind of a bundle of information, but they are street smart. Welcome, students. My name is Dr. Juhi Garg. I am primarily leading a wonderful project, a very aspirational project called Project Shakti, which is all about women's empowerment. And I'm also the lead women for Women Entrepreneurship Forum for University of Petroleum and Energy Studies. Now, these two projects or these two forums are very important when it comes to women or gender. So I would be talking about primarily two things: why entrepreneurship is very important when it comes to rural regions and tribal regions, and why it is even more important when it comes to women. And I'll before I show you a certain slides that I have prepared for certain other seminars, and for the seminars as well, I would like to share a few personal experiences of projects that I'm presently doing, or projects that I have done for the government in past few years and past few months. So right now I'm doing a project. I hope I'm audible to all of you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. So, friends, right now I'm doing a project with Department of Industries, Uttarakhand, which is known as BADP project, Border Area Development Program, which is for one of the districts of Uttarakhand. Uttarakhand is in the north region of the eastern north region of the country. So. And there's a one district in Uttarakhand. Uttarakhand is divided into two portions: Garhwal region and Kumaon region, right? And in Kumaon region, in the Himalayas region of Kumaon, there is a district called, the whole Uttarakhand is divided into 13 districts, and there's a beautiful virgin district. It's called Champawat, the Kumaon region. And it is so beautiful, so untouched, so virgin that if you come, you would feel that God Himself has come and kind of crafted this particular region or district or village or whatever, right? So it is very beautiful, and it is near to the border areas, and it is near to the border areas of Nepal, and somewhere it is very close to. If you'll move further, you'll find some other regions as well. But when all these whatever villages are near to the border areas of country, whether it is near to the China or near to the Tibet or near to the Nepal, wherever in the country, those regions are underdeveloped, the most neglected regions of the country. So the government has those schemes for these regions called Department of Industry has a scheme, and in these schemes government wants some of the NGOs and some of the universities who are very responsible, those who have incubators, like we have government funded incubator, right? And I'm one of the leading ladies who handle this part of that, kind of take up these projects and we adopt these villages and work for these villages and tribal regions as well, right? So we have been working for these 8-9 villages for past 1.5 years, and I would like to share my experience with you, because you also this was informed to me that you are also from the rural background, and you also are from a beautiful village. You're also from a beautiful terrain which is which is extremely rich in ecology, extremely rich in culture, extremely rich as far as demographic dividend is concerned. So whether it is south or whether it is north, we are rich people when it comes to demographic dividend, when it comes to natural resources, when it comes to the beauty and things like that. So we have to tackle these things with utmost care. So what we found out, we did a lot of surveying. We did surveys in 3 phases, and we have found out, we have identified, we did sectorial analysis, and we found out that what are the sectors which are extremely wherein we can actually work, and which can actually gain which can actually get a lot of employment to the people, and people can start their own entrepreneurial journey in those sectors. So we identified hospitality and tourism. Unfortunately, because of the COVID-19 pandemic, this has got disturbed. But tell you very honestly, many researchers have done on COVID-19 pandemic, that after this after pandemic era is going to be very good for hospitality tourism sector. So right now, if you spend a lot of time in equipping yourself, educating, skilling yourself in hospitality, tourism, homestay, cookery, catering, in all those things, hospitality and allied sectors, if you equip yourself, skill yourself, invest a lot of time, energy, all those things in yourself, and when the COVID time will go, and then you can start your business in that time, because people will start traveling. People are going mad at this time. People are confined in 4 walls, and the moment this era will go, the moment COVID will go, people will start traveling. They can't go out. They can't go to foreign land because of 2 reasons. One, fear factor because of COVID. Government is not going to be lenient. Government is going to pressurize people that don't go out, and whatever you would like to do, go travel within. And secondly, people don't have money. They have lost a lot of amount of money in their businesses. Even salary cuts were there. People have lost jobs. So first, they don't have money. Second, there's a lot of anxiety and fear because of COVID. Foreign travel is going to be less. So people are going to travel internally within the country. So once if you'll invest these 6 months, 8 months, 1 year on yourself, equipping yourself in tourism, hospitality sector, you're going to do great after COVID era. So this is one sector which is going to going to see great future in times to come. Maybe not right now. It is a struggling right now. It is not seeing good time right now, but later on it has a great future, and many researchers have proved this. Second, if you've observed, many researchers have come. Many industries failed in COVID era, but there are a couple of industries which did greatly well. One was IT industry, and second was food industry. Food means not hospitality, not outside food, but food, because people can't stop eating. So cereals, vegetables, fruits, you can't stop doing that. They did well. Food processing, food industry and all that never stopped doing well. They were doing well. So if you invest your time, energy, equip yourself, skill yourself into this, and if you have prior knowledge or prior business or parental business or parental knowledge of all these things, if you invest your time, energy in all these things, especially biotechnology students, if you already know this and you start thinking in this direction, you're going to have great future. Because food industry never go wrong. People can't stop eating. They have a stomach, and which cannot be kept empty. They need 3 times of meal. This is another. So there are a couple of IT, artificial intelligence, and IT industry, and robotics, and data analytics is the game changer. So if you're an IT student or if you're not IT student, come what may, you should know, you should be IT educated, whether you're from hospitality, whether you're from non-engineering background, if you're an art student, if you're a biotechnology student, I don't know you, you come from whichever stream, you should be friends with technology. You should be friends with IT and IT tools. Do some certification courses. There are so many certification courses available online, whether it is edX, Coursera, Neptal, other government MHRD platforms, Swayam platform, or any other, Udacity, any other platform. There are numerous of platforms available. You do from whichever platforms in which you're comfortable, but make yourself comfortable, become friends with technology. If you're not friends with technology, you're not going to go, you're not a long runner there. Your marathon, your marathon is because life is a marathon, you will fail. I won't say it's a wrong term using this, it's a strong term, I'm sorry for using this, that you will fail. You won't fail, but you'll struggle. And why should we struggle when we can become friends with something, right? So these are the things, these are little tips which I want to tell you, that these are the industry statistics, these are the studies which are available. We are working with incubators, we are working inside the incubators, and we see day in, day out, people are incubating themselves, people are coming with their business ideas, we are actually grooming their ideas, we are making them concepts, and then recommending them to the government for LLPs and private limited day in, day out. And we understand with every idea, government says, where is the technology component? Where is the component that can bring the innovation curve after 3 years? So whatever idea you have, please understand that there was a research which came out 2 years ago. I don't remember the author's name, but it is very popular, and there's a TED Talk also available on that. It says that if your business is, these days, you should be very ready in innovate your business in 3 years to 5 years of time. If you don't have this mindset to change and transform your business in as quickly as in this time period, you won't be able to sustain yourself, because market is very dynamic, very agile. Market extremely agile, extremely dynamic. Fresh generation, new generation is coming with fresh ideas. New technology is changing, new mobile technology. See how Android versions are coming in every 6 months, 3 months, and so on and so forth. How Samsung and new phones are coming in every 3 months with new technology, new features. Thousands and thousands of applications are available in phones that we cannot even imagine. We only access 1% of the phone. 99% of the phone we don't access. This is the survey which is available. We only know less than 1% of the phone. We don't use more than that percent of the phone. It's like our brain. We use less than that percent of the brain. We hardly use 2 to 3% of our brain. It was Einstein and Newton who used like 6% of their brain, or 10% of their brain. I mean, even lesser. I mean, that's how it is. So we should be this prepared and this creative that we can innovate our business in 3 to 5 years of time. If we are not ready with this, if you're not this ready, this creative, so much risk bearing is not there, then be ready that somebody will come and will kind of ruin your business, or maybe can take away your shares from the market. Your customers will go, because customers want variety, they want change. Screen time has reduced to 3 seconds. Flip the screen, right? psychological generation gap has reduced to less than 3 years. Studies are available. A normal human being produces more than 70,000 thoughts a day. And if it's an executive brain, meaning if it's a higher management brain, a leadership brain, it can produce from 80,000 to 1,20,000 thoughts a day. So if you want to become an entrepreneur, you have to be this creative. And out of those thoughts, very few thoughts, 10 thoughts, 20, 30 thoughts are usable thoughts, are thoughts which are worth keeping, worth working on. The rest of the thoughts are worth dropping. You don't even acknowledge them, right? So we are moving away from this. What I wanted to tell you that how world is moving, in which way world is moving. I wanted to share my experience with you, with the BADP experience with this project. So we identified food processing is one business which may do really well. Hospitality and tourism business which in post-COVID era may do really well. Another business which has a lot of potential is, which is again allied hospitality and tourism, is adventure sports, photography, and a lot of other businesses that I have written down, and I'll show you the slide. Another some of the success story, real success story, which I would like to share. The businesses that we have incubated. One of the businesses is JRTC intern, one of our students who just passed out this year. He gave exam in July, August. JRTC intern is a legal startup. He started his business with a simple idea, as simple as this, that when he was in third year, he faced a lot of problems while getting the internships. So what he did, he struggled so much that he decided that he will have his own company with artificial intelligence softwares enabled company, that he can provide internship to the students of the whole country. And now he is providing internships to approximately 30,000 students of this country in a year, and 1,20,000 students pass out every year. He has all the statistics, and he showed me that statistics with how he is calculating all that. But every year he's providing approximately 30 to 32,000 students internship, and he is just 21 years old, and he's earning he's touching approximately 1 crore rupees a year. So, 1.5 years ago, 2 years ago, he started his business with only 4 students, and he's touching upon 30,000 students. So this is how he's doing. Another student, Pranshu, who started his business with simple idea that when he was in hostel, our university is in a place which is in village, it's outside the city, 20 kilometers outside the city. Okay, you would like to know the patenting steps. I'm not the right person, but I can tell you certain things about it, and I'll come to that. Would you like to know these cases, real cases, and how the ideas generated? Are you interested in this? Otherwise, I'll come to another point. These are the real...
Yes, we are interested. You can...
Okay, thank you. These are the real cases that I'm sharing. I have not picked up these cases from some other incubator. These are the real cases of our incubator. Okay, so Pranshu is one of the students who is incubated, who was a MBA student. His simple problem was, so what I'm trying to say, from where from where entrepreneurial idea comes out, it comes out from a simple idea, simple pain factor. Aapki company, from where your company gets started. If you are in pain, or if you see somebody is in pain and you want to solve that problem, if you want to help that person, or if you want to help yourself, your company starts from there. So if there is a deficiency in the system, in this system, your system, or in the system outside you, or in your friends' life. So if you want to solve that problem, you want to solve that deficiency, you want to provide that solution to that need, your company starts with that. The idea doesn't come from the sky. It only comes from the latent needs that are unsolved. So the RTC in turn came out from the idea of the problem that Mayank faced while getting the internship in the top graded legal advocacy. How Pranshu came into existence, his firm came into existence. Now he's earning multi-million rupees. His idea came into existence when he was in hostel, and he never learned in his house how to wash clothes. He never washed his own clothes when he was in his own house. His mother never taught him, and it was such a pain for him. So what he did, he bought a washing machine. He said, we live in village. My washerman doesn't come every day. He comes once or twice in a week, and I don't like keeping dirty clothes in my room. Let me buy a washing machine. He bought a washing machine. He realized the whole hostel suffers from this problem. So he asked everyone, if I keep a washerman, I buy a machine, would you like to pay some money to me? And I'll solve this purpose. So people agreed that with 500 rupees a month, people agreed that once a week they will collect the cloth, this man will wash, and he will iron it also, and he will keep these ironed clothes to every room. And he started with this little process, and the whole building, the whole tower gave him clothes. Then he bought another machine, third machine, fourth machine. He started with a small laundry. He left the hostel, he took a room outside, he started the laundry. Then he realized, oh my God, people are actually giving him clothes. Why can't he even, when this man goes for supply and bring the clothes, why can't he even offer, Lays or water or other, necessities, Maggie, to all these people? So he started, when this man used to go for supply and logistics, so he used to ask, can I also bring water for you, bisleri for you? Can I also get Lays for you? Can I also get some other material from you in the market? So people started giving him orders. So this is how the supply chain logistics company started. From laundry to supply chain, then vegetables, then other thing. And now he has a logistics and a supply chain company in place, which covers the whole city, and he earns huge money. He just passed out, his MBA. Okay, so this is one interesting story. There are multiple stories. So we have approximately 29 incubated legal entities and about 150 incubated ideas with us in our incubator, right? This was one thing. I don't know whether we have women entrepreneurs here or not, but I would like to share the status of women entrepreneurs. And one more thing, in whichever area you live in, there's one idea which came from South only. You can begin from your own idea. Just keep your eyes open that in your village, if there's what fibers are available. Like here in this village, where we have our university, there is Rambas project which is on. Rambas is a stronger fiber than jute. Like banana fiber is a very beautiful fiber which is used by Anandamai ashram for making sanitary napkins, reusable sanitary napkins. And now it is becoming international. It is going international. So what plants are available? Do these plants have fibers? Biotechnology students, please do some research. Whether these fibers can be used in making clothes or dupattas or sanitary napkins, which can be reused. We should not spoil the environment. Add every product with SDG, Sustainable Development Goals. Hospitality students, produce some food which is extremely good for your health. People are going crazy for their health. Divide food for mental health, spiritual health, and body health. divide. People are going crazy for all these things across. So I have visited, just for my research purpose, I have visited multiple ashrams. So Sri Ashram in Bangalore. I've seen Sri Ashram in Bangalore. I've visited multiple ashrams, and I see that they have multiple stores, and they have yoga clothes. They have meditation clothes with organic fibers. They have mats, organic mats. Instead, plastic mats, and those mats, they have organic mats for meditation, for puja and things like that. So you have huge market, and foreigners buy it in 5 times price than you have available in the local market. So what you can do and how you advertise that, equip yourself with all those things, and beautiful courses available on Coursera and edX. Make your own YouTube channel with all these things. I mean, I don't know how you do it. Prepare a beautiful business plan. I have a business canvas model which I would like to show it to you. If I can present, 1 second. How can we become entrepreneur? We can be watchful of the surroundings, listen to the people's passion. This is one thing we can talk, and then I'll show you the business model canvas. When I was looking at Coimbatore area, I realized that these are the things that you can start your business. So the villages that has medicinal plants belonging to 34 families, I read it in some research paper. South India's largest collection of forestry artifacts, including timber and non-timber forest produce. Geological samples, you have tribal armaments and ornaments. So this specimens and forest engineering models that are available there. Tamil Nadu exhibiting rare collection of nearly 40,000 spices of animals and plants. That is also available to you. So you can start your business in this by getting in touch with, whether you become a trader or you become a producer or grower. I don't know what you do. If you have a farming land, you can start with that. You can start your business in handicraft with local fibers and local start with SHG, self-help groups. Handloom with local fabric, artifacts, travel and tourism, homestays. It's a beautiful location. I've been to Coimbatore and nearby areas. Locations are beautiful, and North Indians like us are crazy for southern locations, and we can pay any amount of price for staying there and for local food. So food processing, like spices, foods and pulses. Human resources and skills, what we have realized as even North Indians consider Tamil people and South Indians a human resource as very precious resource, especially for research and teaching. I don't know for others, but for nursing, research and teaching, we consider South Indians as a very precious resource. So this is one area. If you want to start your consulting or agency or something like that, this is one area in which you can grow. And there are also researchers available, and you have SSCs, sector skill councils. If you see their site, and you will find number of people and training agencies, you'll find a lot of South Indians working towards it. Then you have hospitality, adventure and pilgrimage. A lot of beautiful temples which are not broken by, much distorted by foreign invaders. So that is one area which can do wonders. And there's one beautiful MP agency or an entrepreneur through which we visited MP. We found that he's only working for pilgrimage tourism, and he makes beautiful circuits he makes, right from pujas and all those things, and he has circuits with and tie-ups with pandits and purohits and all those things, and everything he sets up for the pilgrimage tourists, and he earns beautifully well. So all these options are available. You need to be very tricky, and you need to be very smart and very innovative with your ideas, right? So if you're parent and your family you're traveling with, so you need to take care of the elderly parents who are going for pilgrimage. You need to if you're traveling with your children, so you need to make a package which has all these elements. So timber and non-timber is also available near to those areas, so you can explore all these areas. I was just broadly checking that in Coimbatore and nearby areas, what are the things and what are the prominent things that are available. I may be wrong, but you know it better. It was an experience and research which has shown me this, right? So what are the 8 steps to start your business? First, have a business idea. If you have an idea which could be very raw, let it be a raw idea, but if you feel that you can work towards it and you feel that you can spend your 20, 25, 30 years towards it, start working towards that idea. Second, develop a plan, business plan. And for business plan, there is a model. We will discuss that. Start developing a business plan. Okay, how are you going to work towards that idea? Then secure initial financing. So whether that initial financing or capital is going to come from your own savings, from your parental savings, or you're going to take some loan from some banking or bankers or investing agencies, or some other investor you're going to procure that fund. So you need to identify that who's going to invest on you, yourself or a third party investing, right? What kind of investment do you require? Then legally structure your business. So if you want to call your business a startup business, so startup has only 2 definitions. It has to be either LLP or it has to be a private limited company. No third definition for a startup, right? If you want to link yourself with a startup ecosystem of India and you want to get funding from startup ecosystem, then only 2 things you can become. You want to be legally called either as LLP, limited liability partnership, or private limited company. No third name, no proprietorship. So startup ecosystem se connect. If you want to get connected with the startup ecosystem of the country, only 2 structures. Okay. Then hire employees if needed. So it's a good idea, when you enter into a startup ecosystem, if you present your idea or pitch your idea, do the elevators pitching. So what funding agencies or funders or investors or the assessors see, you should have 1 or 2 co-founders. Why? Because supposing somebody is interested in investing in you and you run and you drop the firm in between, you get depressed or by the losses, or you get depressed because of the non-responsive market, you should not be alone. You should not drop the business. There should be another person to boost you up. There should be another person to pick up that business. There has to be 1 or 2 or 3 people involved into the business. So it is promoted, it is advised that you should have 1 or 2 co-founders, right? And beyond that, if you need few people in your business, hire them or take interns. So supposingly you're from AJK, your college can support you to get some interns. They also have internship ideas, right? In their semesters for 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, they also send their students for internship. So in every university and college, this is a system, and for startup companies, so when you set up your business, basically you have to develop a plan, secure the financials, legally secure it, make it if you want to become a startup. In this startup, you have to become a LLP or private limited company, hire employees if needed, and it is advisable to have a co-founder or co-founders. This is what people want, the assessors want, the funders want, the venture capitalists want. Then after that, if you need further people engagement, hire people or take interns. In the beginning of your career, in the beginning of your startup journey, hire interns. Okay, from your college, from your friend's college, or from other colleges, just take out advertisement on your LinkedIn page or skill pages or Facebook or Instagram, whatever forum, social media forum you're using. Take out an advertisement and do it. and also do a small time course on social media advertising, which is available. There is a Professor Seema Gupta of IIM in Bangalore. So she does a lot of courses free of cost on social media management, social media pages, social media marketing. She's a professor of social media marketing only, and she does a lot of courses on digital education, digital marketing, social media marketing. So you all can go ahead and do a few webinars, seminars, and little courses, 3-day courses, 2-day courses of Seema Gupta, Professor Seema Gupta, IIM Bangalore. So that's a good idea if you want to do your startup journey, or otherwise also if you're a student and want to uprise yourself on digital, this thing. Then you can go ahead because this is very important. Color scheme is important in social media. What page you're using, what space you're using, what language you're using, bold letters using, small letters using, all that is very important. Get skilled on that. Okay, because people use they use your they read your presence because of your social media presence. They can't meet you, they meet you through your social media presence. They see you on Facebook, they see you on Instagram, they see you on LinkedIn, they don't see you personally, right? All that is very important. And then they begin your journey of a startup. So it's very, very, very important. And there is one Harvard, there's one Stanford University study which was done by Professor Duckworth, and TED Talk is also available for this particular study. Professor Duckworth of Stanford University, note it down if you want, and TED Talk is also available on that. She says, Professor Duckworth says, that to become successful, it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful research, longitudinal research which she has done, and by her followers. They also followed her research and done for a long period of time. And she says that to become successful in career, whether it is entrepreneurial career or otherwise any other career, or as a student also, you don't exactly need IQ, that is intelligence quotient. You don't even need physical health. To become successful, you don't need to look beautiful, right? So your physical presence or looks also is not that important. Of course, it plays a great role, but not very important to make you successful. So she listed down several factors that we feel, until today we felt that this is the reason to become successful. What she said after intensive research of multiple years, she said, what is the most important thing to become successful as an entrepreneur or otherwise is grit. G-R-I-T. You need to be gritty. And what is grit? Grit means you need to have passion and perseverance. Perseverance means you should be able to run your marathon for a long period of time. You should be able to follow your passion, follow your goal for a very long period of time. Whether you pass, whether you fail, whether you encounter with so many ups and downs in your life or your career, your entrepreneurial journey, you should not drop the idea of that particular venture, or you should not lose the idea of pursuing that particular thing. So what you need to do is that you should keep on doing that for a very long time. You should have the passion to follow that thing. You should pursue that with same amount of passion. So that is called grit. And what grit gives you, what is the resultant of grit? The resultant of grit is, what is the outcome of grit or byproduct of grit? He says after the intensive research, and multiple people did research on that. The outcome of grit is that she says that grit gives us growth mindset. It gives us the mindset which helps us to grow, or which helps us to grow, and which is progressive basically. The right word is progressive. So if we keep on following and following and following and pursuing what we want in our life, what is our goal, with intense feeling and passion, it will give us the growth mindset. Whether we pass, whether we fail, there's nothing called in life as failure in our entrepreneurial journey. It only gives us an experience that this should not be done in this way, because it has given us an experience which was not profitable to us. So next time we won't be doing this way, because it hasn't given us the customer satisfaction, it hasn't given us the profit, it hasn't given us the satisfaction. So we are going to try doing this particular thing in a better manner, or in another manner, right? So growth mindset is given is the result of gritty people. I hope I'm making things understandable. She even said that talented people, talent is inversely proportional to grit. So people also change their interest and talent. You want to develop, if you're not talented in mathematics today, in accountancy today, you may develop that talent in 6 months of time. If you're not talented in IT today, you may develop that talent in 6 months of time. She said that very clearly, and she has done this research on multiple thousands people. So she said, people those who are gritty can do any damn thing under the sun. She said people who were sports people, they did well in mathematical fields. People those who were poor in English, they did well in multiple things. So you can develop any talent if you have grit. Grit is one personality trait which can give you any damn thing, especially in entrepreneurial journey, right? It makes you a marathon runner, right? I'm sorry, I'm taking a lot of time, so another 5 to 7 minutes, I'll wind it up. One more slide, which is interesting, which talks about the model canvas. What you need to, if you want to start your business, what should be the business model canvas? So business model canvas is this, which is also available on internet. When you type this on Google search engine and go on the images page, you will find many business model canvases, and you will find this also. So this is not made by me, this is only compiled by me, and the source is written down. See, it is developed by Alexander Osterwalder. It's a very popular business canvas model. I'm sorry. So he says the first thing that you need to identify is the partners. Who are the key partners or the suppliers in your business? So who are going to work with you, and with whom you're going to work for? Who's going to be your suppliers, and with whom you're going to work? What are we getting from them, or what are we giving them? So what are we going to give them, and what are we going to take from them? What are the activities we are going to do to our business? So activities means what is going to be our contribution. What is going to be activity means the series of actions. Activity means one action plus third action plus fourth action plus fifth action. So chain of actions is equal to activity. So what all actions are we going to perform to make an activity? What are we going to contribute, right? To the society, to the community, to the customers, to the clients, to the stakeholders, that you have to write. So by that activity, to make that contribution, what resources do we need? We need machinery, we need funds, we need people, human resource. What resources do we need? Niche is written, resources. Next, by making that contribution through those resources, what value are we going to create? What value are we going to create? Meaning, value means, what do you mean by value? Value means creating importance. Value means what is valuable in our life. We value education, we value money, we value relationship, we value love, we value affection. What are we going to create? What kind of value are we going to create? What kind of value we are going to propose to the market, propose to the customer? propose to the government that we are going to write here. So first, for whom we are going to do the business, with whom we are going to do the business, what activities, through what activities we are going to do it, we need what kind of resources, what value are we going to create, okay? Then buy-in support, okay? How does the team get buy-in from all the beneficiaries? So who's going to get who is going to be the ultimate beneficiary? Whether it is going to whatever value we are going to create, so government is going to be the ultimate beneficiary, or the community is going to be the ultimate beneficiary, or the animals are going to be the ultimate beneficiary. Who's going to be the ultimate beneficiary? That we need to be very clear with. What are we going to deploy on them, and how are we going to deploy on them? And this is how we are going to, what are the cost and mission achievements and statements. This is how you make your business model canvas. If you learn to draw your business canvas model, you would be able to strategize your business. So it comes with practice. Draw your business model canvas 10 times, 20 times, 30 times, and then you will be able to make the elevator pitch in front of the incubators, or in front of the venture capitalists or investors or bankers, in front of the loaning agencies and things like that. So it is very important to be clear with your business model. For whom you're going to do the business, why are you going to do the business, who's going to get the benefit, why are you going to create this value, who's going to help you, why this activity, what resources do you want, what is going to be the cost, what is the mission. So this is how you're going to create the business model canvas. There are multiple kinds of models that are available on the internet. Choose whichever you feel is the most convenient to you, but this is very popular one which I have chosen for you, right? So practice it if you want to become an entrepreneur. Have the gritty mind and practice that also. So this is one statistics which I found on internet. So I presented here. If you want to read it, I can quickly read it for you. The statistics, which is very pleasing. So of 58.5 million entrepreneurs in India, only 14% are women. Only 14% of women entrepreneurs are present, and there are multiple reasons for that. Indian women-owned businesses provide employment to only 13.45 million people. So it is very less. About 1.3, and this is one thing to tell you, friends, women entrepreneurs don't create usually the women startups. I would not like to call it a startup, because a startup means private limited or LLP. But women, those who start their business ideas, they usually start NGOs, or they usually do not make a business profitable model of their business. And there's a whole psychology behind that. There's a huge research behind that. Very few women, which is why the number is very less. Only 14% women make startups, and they only hire 13.45 million people. And there's a whole psychology behind that. 2% of the startup funding went to women founders. Only 2% of the total funding goes to women founders. However, government has huge funding available to the women founder. If your company is started and the first person of your company is a woman, you will get more funds, you will get easy registration, more companies will come for you to help, government will come to you for easy help in all those things. If the first founder is the woman, 51% shares, if it is held by a woman, there's going to be more help available to you. In spite of that, there's only 2%. The 10% fund raises is itna. So this is the women thing which is available to you. So I just wanted to share that women, please buck up, do something for your country, do something for yourself. And I mean, it's a good time when you can actually start your venture. So if you have, should you have any questions, I would like to welcome your questions.
Dear participants, if you have any questions, you can put it on Q&A, which is available on your bottom screen. You can use it. If you have any doubts, please ask.
So I would like to tell you one thing. Of course, you have the previous speaker. He told you about the Chennai incubator, rural incubator. Of course, you have which is nearest to you. But if you want to start anything in the northern part of the country, you have one incubator. I welcome you all to incubate your business there also. If you want to do something in the northern part of the country, so you have UPS incubator, which is a government supported incubator. It's a business incubator that you have. You can contact me through your college authorities. My name is Dr. Juhi M Garg.
I have a small question to Dr. Juhi.
Sir, please.
Yeah,
if
madam,
I may.
At the starting, you mentioned about some projects in the hinterlands of your state. So you did any projects?
Yes, I have done a couple of them, sir, with government.
They're essentially what, madam?
Right now, we are associated with the Directorate of Industries, and we are doing border area development programs.
Okay. So they are basically the ecology, environment management, or livelihoods?
It's basically for skill development, is for employment generation and entrepreneurial opportunities.
Okay.
I'm glad you are still here.
Yeah, I'm a student, madam.
So,
as I moved forward in my life, I became a more curious student than a teacher. Yeah.
So I was also very curiously listening to you, and I gained a lot of insights.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
So nice. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. Thank you, Dr. Juhi, for your encouraging speech. Now, I would call upon Dr. Jasmine Priya, NSS Coordinator and NSS Nodal Officer, to propose the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon to all. I am honored to propose a vote of thanks. It's our privilege to have such eminent personalities amongst us for the last 2 days. We want to express our heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Gajavelli, Professor and Chairman, Center for Sustainability, Growth and Development, Institute of Management Technology, Nagpur. Dr. Juhi M Garg, Deputy Director, University of Petroleum and Energy Studies, Uttarakhand, Technical University, Dehradun. Sri B.S.C. Naveen Kumar, Tamil Nadu and Puducherry Program Coordinator, Mahatma Gandhi National Council of Rural Education. Mr. Manikandan, Manager, HR, Hinduja Global Solution, Hyderabad, and Professor N. Lakshmi Iyer, HOD, Hindi Department, Central University, Rajasthan, with us and enlightening, insightful ideas. Our heartfelt thanks goes to our Secretary, Dr. Ajit Kumar Lalmogan, who always motivates and guides us to adopt new innovative ideas. Our sincere thanks goes to our Principal, Dr. V. Satish Kumar, for his support. And big thanks goes to Professor Jonathan Anand Kumar, Catering Science and Hotel Management, Student Development Officer, Personality Development, REDC, and Mrs. Sujita Amlin Nancy, IQSC Coordinator and Student Development Officer, Entrepreneurship, REDC, for helping to organize this national level webinar. And I thank Mr. Kavin, who always supports in the technical area. Success of any great event is not possible without the dedication and hard work of faculty members, students and participants. Let me acknowledge the help and support for all our faculty members. Thank you very much, all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Gajavelli, Dr. Garg, Dr. Juhi. Thank you. And thank you all the participants